It's not everyone's cup of tea to consume an entire podcast. That's why, welcome to the Ranveer Show's highlights channel, TRS Clips. Subscribe and hit that bell icon, which is all your future tech learnings. And I'll tell you why. And before you share your future tech learnings, I'd love to share some of my recent learnings with you. Okay, so the first learning is something called Yoga Nidra and just the power of yoga in general, dude. Holy shit, that's something I've taken up for the last 3-4 months. And I've figured how much stretching is related to your mental state of mind, your mental health, your mental fitness, and also just how you're perceiving problems. And I had a neuroscientist on the show, this guy called Dr. Baland Jalal. He actually explained the biological aspect of it. That, okay, now if you're happy, you automatically smile. So there are muscles that pull your lips in a particular way. But if you force those muscles to pull your lips out and fake a smile, your head also gets happy. So in the same way, when you're stressed, your body tightens up. And when you're relaxed, your body loosens up. Now, what if you're actually able to physically loosen your body? That means your head also kind of loosens up a bit because there's a reverse neural pattern. Yoga and Yoga Nidra especially. Have you heard of Yoga Nidra?
I've heard a bit about it. I've not really practiced it.
Dude, it's like a relaxation exercise. Basically, you have to lie down. It's a certain breathing. It's different kinds of breathing techniques, but it legit switches you off. It's sort of like you're simulating 3 to 4 hours of sleep in about 20 minutes, in about 15-20 minutes. And it's incredible. Like instead of a midday nap, if you take about Yoga Nidra, it's a life hack. Again, heard it from a neurobiologist, and then I went into like the whole yoga study side of things. So that's the first learning, that yoga holds some sort of superpower. The second learning is how different Gen Z is as compared to all of us, especially urban Gen Z. Way more intelligent, also way more effed up. Like just crazy angry. Like they are angry in life. It's because of that excess of information they have, probably slightly weaker relationships and fewer relationships. So, not a very high level of empathy and not a very high level of EQ, but incredible levels of intelligence. I'm very curious to see what they turn into. And that's why you're also seeing so much mental health chatter, because they actually are dealing with way more mental health problems than our generations did. Side note, you should watch this show called Dave. Have you seen it? It's about a rapper called Lil Dicky. You should check it out whenever you're free. You've seen Entourage ever?
I have.
So this is a sequel to Entourage, but it's a more intelligent version of it from a modern context. And every episode addresses a human insecurity. So one of them is where you're insecure about someone's money, about your relationship, about your merit, like your ability at work. Very, very crazy show and underrated. People are going to discover that show the way they discovered Game of Thrones and Entourage later. Um, Okay, and the third learning is obviously future tech, dude. I just got into reading a lot of Yuval Noah Harari over the last couple of years. First of all, I was feeling bad that I didn't discover it earlier. But secondly, I discovered everything that's coming our way. And since you're in Silicon Valley, which many people consider to be the center of future tech, what do you think is up? What do you think is great from an Indian perspective? And what are you personally most pumped about in terms of all the technologies that are coming our way? Is it flying cars you're interested in? Is it things like Neuralink? Is it other forms of biohacking? What's up in your head? Like, what's intriguing you?
Uh, I think what happened because of pandemic and the you realize that the moment you relax uh, innovation and not put too much regulation behind it and say we have to survive as a species and figure out a vaccine. And dude, we figured out a vaccine in a year's time. That's
Hmm.
the most crazy thing that has happened, right? And that gives this confidence to so many people to go attack so many things that we are dealing with as species and so many fields. And you will see an impact happening to cancer. You will see an impact happening to other aging related issues that are going to happen. And suddenly you will see this going to be a step function change to medical field, because all these people are like, damn it, like we can go on and go after it. And in the name of COVID, there'll be so much parallel research that will come out, right?
Hmm.
Right. I was telling somebody, imagine a thought experiment. And Ranveer, that's another hack, by the way. Doing thought experiments is the smartest way of becoming sharper in life, by doing these simulations in your head, right? Let's take an example. Let's do a thought experiment. What if right now Olympics bans usage of drugs? Okay. What if it was not the case? Drugs are allowed. An Olympic is about extraordinary human performance. What if drugs are allowed to be used? Suddenly, you will see humans becoming superhumans through drugged up versions, and that experiments will result in a lot of scientific discoveries on curing diseases
Hmm.
and finding out what human cells do and our lungs do, our breathing do, and our muscles do, right? And suddenly it will change. So the question is, and it's a crazy thought experiment, right? You see the benefit of it, right? Uh, and the moment you realize that if you can force a scenario like this in a short period of time, the species accelerates in a very different way, right? So my view is that medical field is going to see such crazy innovations that will take a lot of capital away for us. For example, let's say I'll give you my personal observation. So I had mild COVID personally, and I lost my taste uh, and smell, and I thought that was the fastest way of being healthy. What if I could switch off my smell and taste for periods of time? The need to eat more, which is an addictive loop, would be suppressed.
Hmm.
Imagine we got this vaccine that saves us from COVID, right? What if we had a vaccine that reduced our craving for carbs? Now, it's a crazy thought. I know there's a medical complexity to pull this off or whatever, but uh, what if we had a vaccine that makes us uh, puke after we consume over a certain amount of carbs
Hmm.
instead of storing it as fat, hypothetically?
Hmm.
Now, compare that vaccine to the COVID vaccine. Which vaccine will save more lives? And it's crazy. And medical thing doesn't work that way. And I'm imagining all this stuff. But the reality is, all the beautiful inventions have happened by people imagining these things. Every
Hmm.
scientific product is some sci-fi person's imagination before, right? So I think we're going to see a massive amount of innovation where people are going to be a lot more bold and allow innovations to happen,
Hmm.
right? When you relax a lot of these regulations on how innovation should be done in the field of humans, we will see a lot of progress, right? Other thing that is likely to happen is connectivity and communication, right? What work from home did is figured out a way that we can now connect with the global world without really meeting them, right? We are able to do this podcast. We are able to kind of connect with anybody in the world if there is an interest, and we can uh, exchange ideas, learn, be better, right? Uh, would it be surprising if the best physics teacher in the world teaches all of Indian kids physics?
Hmm.
It's not hard to imagine anymore, right? So the thing is that we are going to go through these evolutions where we will fundamentally ask, is this good enough, right? And that's going to happen very, very soon, right? uh, in terms of our realization about yoga, health, all of these things is going to come a lot more because more people who we think are somebody who are supposed to influence us are more likely to talk about it and discover it. For example, this conversation where you made this yoga nidra conversation happen is gonna get more people to look it up on YouTube and probably try it. And what if
Hmm.
it works for them, right? So I think some of these concepts of what seem to be better for humans will kind of spread at a much faster speed,
Hmm.
right?